In the quiet medieval village of Elmsbridge, where the rooftops leaned like old friends whispering secrets to one another, lived an elderly lantern keeper named Alden Merrin. Each night, long after the chatter of villagers had faded into warm silence, Alden walked to the stone bridge that arched over the slow moonlit river. His duty was old, older than he was, older than the carved stones beneath his feet. 12 lanterns lined the bridge, glowing softly like drowsy stars. Medieval travelers had relied on them for centuries. Messengers carrying parchment letters, wandering bards with lutes on their backs, merchants guiding their horses through mist. All trusted the lanterns of Elmsbridge to keep them safe from darkness. To Alden, the lanterns were more than lamps. They were companions. Tonight the mist lay thick, drifting low like silver breath across the river. The moon, thin and shy, hung just above the treetops. As Alden stepped onto the bridge, his boots made a gentle tap, tap, that floated across the quiet. He raised his lighting pole and touched flame to the first lantern. A warm glow bloomed outwards, soft, golden, comforting. Alden smiled. Another peaceful night, he whispered to himself. But something was different. When he reached the fourth lantern, a small figure appeared at the far end of the bridge. Mist curled around her feet like drifting ribbons. She was a young girl, perhaps 10 years old, wrapped in a deep green cloak. A tiny wooden lute rested against her chest. She looked too small to be traveling alone. Alden approached slowly. "Good evening, little one," he murmured gently. "Are you lost?" The girl shook her head, her brown hair falling softly over her shoulders. "I'm just listening," she whispered. "The lanterns. They hum." Alden blinked. Villagers had always claimed the lanterns hummed faintly when lit, a medieval belief that flame carried memory. Yet only sensitive ears ever heard it. "You hear them?" he asked softly. She nodded. "Would you like to walk with me while I light the rest?" This time she answered not with words, but by stepping gently beside him. Together they moved from lantern to lantern. Each flame added a new pocket of warm light to the mist-filled night. At the 7th lantern she whispered, "My grandmother told me that lantern keepers protect memories, that they keep stories alive." Alden felt a warm ache in his chest. "That is an ancient belief," he said. When monks travelled with parchment and ink, they said light preserved stories, and darkness swallowed them. She hugged her lute closer. "I want to learn stories. All kinds of stories. The ones people forget." Alden's voice softened. "That is a noble wish." The girl then revealed her truth, her voice trembling like a fragile string. "Grandmother passed away last winter. I travel with her lute. I play for food. Sometimes people listen." Alden nodded slowly, compassion filling his tired eyes. "Then you carry her memory with you, and her music." They reached the 10th lantern, where the mist had thinned enough for the river to appear, dark, still, and glassy. The girl plucked a single lute string. Plink. The sound drifted through the night like a tiny silver bird. "My grandmother said rivers carried wishes," she murmured. "She was right," Alden replied. "This bridge was built wide, so travelers would stop and feel safe while whispering their wishes into the water." She watched the ripples, her eyes glimmering softly. "Did the wishes come true?" "In their own time," Alden whispered. At the 11th lantern she looked up at him again. "If stories keep people alive, does that mean she's still here?" Alden lit the lantern slowly, letting its glow unfold. "Yes," he said. "Every time you play her music, Every time you tell her stories, she breathes again. Her eyes shined warm and wet. They reached the final lantern together. Alden lit it with deliberate calm, letting the fire bloom like a small sunrise trapped in glass. The bridge was now fully lit, 12 soft lanterns glowing through drifting mist. A magical hush settled over the night. The girl reached into her cloak and pulled out a tiny carved acorn. "My grandmother made this," she said, "for good luck. I want you to have it." Alden closed his fingers around the charm, touched. "And I have something for you," he murmured. He removed a small brass key from around his neck. "This opens the old storyteller's chest at the edge of the village," he explained. "Inside are scrolls written by lantern keepers long ago. Take one, learn it, and share it." Her breath caught, a soft, trembling inhale. "Truly, I may have one. You may have any you choose." She hugged him suddenly, quick and warm, and then gently stepped backward into the mist. Alden watched as her figure grew smaller, then vanished, except for the sound of her lute drifting back through the night. Plink, plink, plink. The lanterns hummed softly in reply. A song of memory.